This is a Warhammer Age of Sigmar lore video about giants and the new Sons of Behemat battletome rumours. Hello, this is 60 Goblins and 1 Brush with a video about giant lore. As you might be aware of, it has been teased and leaked that there will be a new battletome solely with giants. Wow! Called the Sons of Behemat, which of course is a play on the word behemoth. We do not have a lot of lore about the giants, neither in the world that was nor in Age of Sigmar. In AOS the first giants were god beasts, like Dracothian, the huge star dragon who rescued Sigmar in the slum, or the Magmodron Volcatrix, who was battled by Grimnir and started the Fireslayer faction. The greatest giant was Behemat, who was killed by Sigmar with his hammer Galmaraz because Archaon had tricked Behemat into believing that Sigmar and his pantheon were evil and destroying his lands. Just as Sigmar reminds us a bit of Odin, Thor and Zeus, also the giants are a major theme in Norse and ancient Greek mythology. Games Workshop is borrowing heavily from international mythology, just like George Lucas, Tolkien, Moorcock and others did before them. So that's okay, you can only come up with so much archetypal lore. And it's actually better to use it because they're archetypes. It does something with our psyche. We recognize it as some truth in it. Because of the lack of lore and in preparation of the new battletome, I will here summarize a bit of Norse and Greek mythology, because it is fascinating and fits perfectly with AOS lore. I know there are some Danish and Finnish listeners on this channel. Are there any Swedish or Norwegian as well? Hello to any Norse descendants. Well, actually Great Britain is full of Norse descendants as well, and so is the US and Australia and so on indirectly. The Anglo-Saxons who came to Britain after the Romans left had also a religion very similar to the Norse. Thor was called Dona, Odin was called Wotan, and so on. And the Danes also tried to conquer Britain and settled there, as many of you know from novels and series like Vikings. Later Christianity destroyed all that, but before everyone believed in gods and giants and elves and dwarves. Now, who made the giants? And what is the difference between giants, titans and gods? Really, there is no basic difference at all once you delve into the mythology. In fact, in most mythologies, they were created at the same time and were very similar. Only that the gods looked like humans and later created the humans in their own image. So we look like the gods, not the gods look like humans. And the giants were more like raw forces of nature: mountains, rivers, forests, glaciers, fire, mist, and so on. In actual fact, the gods, as well as the giants, were the children of heaven, Uranus, and earth, Gaia. In ancient Greece, there were the titans as well. The titans came before the gods, who, like Zeus, were the titans' children. The titans were beings like Kronos, time, or Atlas, who was as big as the whole planet, being able to carry it, and later condemned to carry it. Or Prometheus, who brought light and fire to the humans. In both Norse and Greek mythology, the giants were chaos and nature untamed, raw power and potential, while the gods were order and creation manifest. To create the world, Odin and Zeus had to slay giants to gain raw material in order to be able to create something from. Before that, there was only fire and mist and light and darkness and undivided energy. There was no world. There was no substance to make anything from. Yes, that reminds us a bit of the four chaos gods, doesn't it? In the mythologies, the gods and giants were not always enemies. To the contrary, they were friends and often intermarried and had children together. Most of the younger gods, like Thor and Loki, are part god, part giant by heritage and genes. But once the killing of giants and the creation of the world started, the war was on. As you know, in the grim, dark future, there's only war. Same in the past. So the world consists of the corpses of the first giants, like Ymir in the Norse mythology or Behemat in AOS. In Greek mythology, there were several kinds of giants, like Cyclops and Hecatoncheires. They were never stupid or drunk like the ale guzzler giants now, gargants. They were intelligent, powerful, and often beautiful, but in a very raw and wild way. They were wise but not cunning. Cunning was the domain of the new gods. And the most cunning of all beings were Loki and Hermes. The giants were killed and imprisoned and deceived and betrayed so many times to make our world possible, just like Archeon betrayed Behemat, and just like Sigmar had to kill him then. So that the giants were getting weaker and fewer and more desperate. They wanted the old world back, or the old thing back, the world before matter and before time, the one without humans and without elves and animals. They wanted their primordial void, made of abyss and cold, nothing but blackness and starlight. Or at the very least destroy the creation of their brethren/enemies and thus make a new world. The pinnacle of this war between giants and gods is called Ragnarök, and this is also why Loki is always between alliances or allegiances. His children always turn out to be monstrosities because he is part god, part giant. Or like in the very recommendable book The Gospel of Loki by Joanne Harris, he is wildfire made flesh. What am I aiming at here? What does it have to do with the new battletome? The giants, respectively the sons of Behemat, could be a very fascinating faction with really rich lore. I'm very much looking forward to them, and more videos will come. The old giants in mythology are unbridled forces of nature like hurricanes or tsunamis, like moving mountains or monsters as big as planets who could change shapes and who were master craftsmen even before the first dwarves ever took up the first hammer and their first smithy. They were as old as the gods, of which, by the way, we know nothing much in Warhammer. We know they were the old ones who created the Slann and the Seraphon and tampered with the evolution of humanoids. We know they were the ancient chaos gods. Khorne, Nurgle, and Tzeentch, the god of war, the god of decay, and the god of magic. In Age of Sigmar there are a lot of new gods, but very few old ones left from the old world that was. There's Gorka Morka and Grungni and Sigmar, and that's about it, basically. Actually, the first giants like Behemat are probably very much akin to Gorka Morka, or Gork and Mork as they were called before. Or maybe they are direct children of Gorka Morka. They were archetypes, more than definite beings of flesh and blood. They were the sun and the moon, the earth and the oceans. Now the children or grandchildren of these immense god beasts, the sons of Behemat, are drunken hooligans, but only because they lost their pride and their roots and their home, and they distract themselves in their vast grief by pouring rivers of ale into themselves. Imagine what would happen if some of them could detox from their alcoholism and become powerful forces of nature again. They would be formidable adversaries to the highest degree. We know the Lumineth have mastered the elements, but the giants are the elements. They are the earthquake. They are a volcano eruption, the blizzard that drives the beast clorators. If they remember. At the very least, they should have the ability to destroy terrain pieces like annoying shooting seraph on pyramids. So I am very excited about this possible new faction that might appear on the Adepticon next to the Lumineth. And as I have said before, the Grand Alliance of Destruction is in dire need of an additional battletome, having only 3 so far, fewer than any other Grand Alliance, namely Gloomspite Orc War Clans, or Ogre Moor tribes. If you tasted blood and want to know more about Norse and Greek mythology, I recommend the following: Johan Harrison, Neil Gaiman, Marius Christou and David Ramana, and their YouTube channel Mythology and Fiction Explained. There are of course classics like Joseph Campbell, but the above mentioned authors are much more fun to read and better reads actually. Also fun and promising is the new Norwegian Netflix show I recently discovered called Ragnarök, which I just started watching. The first few episodes were quite nice, and which is exactly about the war between the gods and the giants called Jötunar, only set in today's world and time. Quite interesting. That's it for today. Stay tuned for more Giants, Lumineth and Seraphon news and painting videos. Right now, the Sons of Behemat are just a very nice war scroll battalion. But I love the guy carrying this huge boulder. Imagine if he throws that like a psycho. So I really hope there's meat to this rumor and there will be a whole battle tome of giants. I really like it. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Leave your comments below. What do you think? And see you soon.